Hello students, I am Rajiv Kumar Singh, PGT English of KV Danapur Cant second shift. I hope that all of you are staying safe and healthy at your home and enjoying the online classes that are being conducted by your teachers. Dear students, in today's video lesson I welcome you all to read lesson 3 taken from the book Snapshots prescribed for the students of class 11th, titled Ranga's Marriage, written by Masti Venkatesha Iyengar. So dear students, let's read the story Ranga's Marriage. So to begin with, let us acquaint ourselves with the brief bio sketch of the writer Masti Venkatesha Iyengar. He was born on 6th June 1891 at Honjenahalli, a town in the district of Kolar in Karnataka. He hailed from a Tamil Iyengar family, and his nickname Masti comes from the name of the village where he had spent most of his childhood. Masti was popularly known as Masti Kannada Asti, that translates to Masti is Kannada's treasure. He received a master's degree in English literature from Madras University in 1914 and cleared the coveted Indian Civil Services examination. He held posts of great responsibility and rose to the level of district commissioner. He used to write under the pen name of Srinivasa, and his first notable work was his collection of short stories called Kelavu Sanna Kategalu. He was credited for composing and translating many important plays. His last prominent role was as the editor of the monthly journal Jeevan between 1944 and 1965. He wrote about 120 books in Kannada and 17 in the English language. He was the fourth of seven Kannadigas to have won the prestigious Gyanpith Award. Dear students, Kannadigas here refers to the people who speak in Kannada language, and Gyanpith Award is the highest award in our country which is awarded in the field of literature. So Masti had won this prestigious Gyanpith Award in the year 1983 for his novel Chikavira Rajendra, a story concerning the last of the Kodava kings. Masti died on 6th June 1986, that is the same date on which he was born, at the age of 95. Now dear students, let us have a brief introduction of this lesson. This story dates back to the early days of British rule, when life in villages was slow and child marriage was common. English was not widely used as a medium of communication those days. This story very interestingly depicts the manipulations done by the narrator to bring a change in the idealistic views of Ranga, the protagonist, about marriage, and gets him married to an 11-year-old girl, Ratna. Due to the narrator's meticulous planning with the village astrologer, Shastri, Ranga ultimately gets married to Ratna, with whom he had fallen in love at first sight. Now let us pay attention on the themes or values that are being highlighted by the writer through this story. The first theme that the writer has touched upon is child marriage, as we have read in the introduction of this lesson, that the life in villages was very slow during the early British rule, and at that time this social evil was prevailing almost everywhere in all the villages. The writer has highlighted this social issue in a comical way. He has also conveyed the important message through Ranga's views about marriage, that one should get married at the right age. The second theme that the writer has highlighted is following cultural norms and respect for one's own culture. Here, through this chapter, the writer has highlighted this value of following one's own cultural norms as displayed by Ranga, the accountant's son, as he followed his cultural trends in spite of being educated in an English medium educational institution outside his village at the city of Bangalore. He was greeting everyone with a broad smile who had assembled in front of his house when he returned from Bangalore, and had touched the narrator's feet with deep respect. He had been wearing the Janevara or Janevu, thereby following the culture and custom of his society in which he was brought up. The third value or the theme that the writer has highlighted is the hypocrisy of astrologers. Has been criticized here by the writer through this story. The insincerity of astrologers is shown here in this story, as the village astrologer Shastri was tutored by Shyama to tell Ranga what was required to convince him to marry Ratna. And the last value that the writer has touched upon is the concern of elders towards youngsters. Here, this value has been depicted through the character of Shyama, who was an elderly person, and he was impressed by Ranga's courteous and gentle behavior. And then he wanted that Ranga should get married soon to the orphan girl who was talented. Now students, let me introduce you to the characters of this story. The very first character is Shyama, the narrator, who lives in Hoshahalli village. He is Ranga's neighbor. He is impressed by Ranga's cultured behavior and plans a strategy, takes the village astrologer into confidence, and finally makes Ranga agree to marry an 11-year-old orphan, Ratna. The second character is the protagonist of the story, named Ranga, the son of an accountant who gets educated outside his village at Bangalore. He has not changed much when he returns, as he follows the traditional courteous behavior towards elders. However, his views about marriage are non-traditional. The narrator's strategy succeeds in making him agree to the traditional arranged marriage. The third character is Ratna, an 11-year-old orphan girl Rama Rao's niece. She is pretty and sings very sweetly. She also knew how to play the veena and the harmonium. She impresses Ranga so that he changes his views on marriage. And the last major character of this story is Shastri, a village priest, who plays his role to perfection as tutored by the narrator Shyama. But he does not want to be treated shabbily and tries to assert his knowledge of the Shastras when Shyama tried to make fun of him. There are two minor characters also in this story. One is Ramarao, Ratna's uncle, and the last one, Ramarao's wife. Now, dear students, let us pay attention on the gist of this lesson. This story deals with the marriage of Ranga, a native of village Hoshahalli, who had returned after being educated in Bangalore. The story is a first-person narrative, and a major portion of the story is in flashback. The speaker directly addresses the readers. The narrator, Shyama, is a neighbor of the protagonist, Ranga. The narrator begins the story with his justification for not assigning a fancy title to the story, because the story is about a common boy, Ranga, and his marriage. He then continues the story with a difference by first giving a detailed description of his village, Hoshahalli, located in the erstwhile state of Mysore. He praises the mangoes and the creepers of his village and asks the readers if they have ever heard of the name of their village. He replies to the question himself that the village was not located in any of the maps, as the Sahibs in England probably did not know that such a place exists, and the geographers of our own country forgot to put it there. The narrator calls the Indian geographers as a flock of sheep while talking about the village Hoshahalli. He says that British writers did not know about this small village, so there is no mention of it in geography books. But the Indian geographers also blindly followed the Britishers and did not mention anything about this village. So they also behaved like a flock of sheep who blindly followed the first one. The narrator is filled with praise for his village Hoshahalli. He says, if the state of Mysore is to Bharatvarsh what the sweet Karigadabu is to a festive meal, then Hoshahalli is to Mysore state what the filling is to Karigadabu. Karigadabu is a South Indian fried sweet filled with coconut and sugar. He then glorifies his village further by saying that he is not the only one who speaks glowingly of Hoshahalli. Even Doctor Gunda Bhatta speaks happily about Hoshahalli, as the narrator does. He is also proud of Hoshahalli, though he has visited a number of places except England. He admits that there is not such a wonderful place like Hoshahalli. But the narrator finally concludes that the real appreciation of the village can be felt only if one visits it personally and gets acquainted with it. Then he introduces Ranga, the protagonist, who had gone to Bangalore for studies and returned home. The narrator recalls that this incident had happened 10 years ago. The situation in the village during those days was entirely different, as Ranga's father, the village accountant, was the first one who had gathered enough courage to send his son to Bangalore to pursue his studies. People never used to use English words while talking in Kannada, their mother tongue, but now the narrator claims they do it with an abominable pride, and to prove this fact, he also quotes an instance where Ramarao's son was not ashamed to use the word change while buying some firewood from a woman who knew no English, thereby creating confusion. Now people were so fond of the foreign language and education that Ranga's homecoming is made a big affair. People gathered around his house to see if he has changed and what was his views about marriage. Seeing so many people gathered there, Ranga came out with a smile on his face. The narrator then says that had they all gone inside his house, the place would have turned into what people call the Black Hole of Calcutta. In simple words, the narrator found the place, that is Ranga's house, too small to accommodate all the people who had gathered there. But it did not happen. So the narrator also thanked God for this kindness. Hearing of Ranga's return, the villagers came to find out whether Ranga had changed due to studying in an English medium educational institution at the city of Bangalore. To their surprise and pleasure, he was the same Ranga who was treating everyone with respect. An old lady who was near Ranga ran her hand over his chest, looked into his eyes, and said, "The Janevara is still there. He hasn't lost his caste." The Janevara in Kannada stands for the sacred thread worn by Brahmins or Hindu people. In Hindi we call it as Janev. Ranga also expressed his profound respect to the narrator by bending his body and touched the narrator's feet. The narrator was greatly elated and impressed by this warm and cordial gesture of Ranga and blessed him by saying, "May you get married soon." The same afternoon, Ranga visited the narrator's house, where the narrator asked Ranga about his plans for marriage. Ranga replied that if one gets married, it should be to a girl who is mature, otherwise, one should remain a bachelor. That's why he is not going to marry a young girl, and strongly condemned the custom of child marriage that was prevailing in his village. He also holds the opinion that a man should marry a girl he admires. Shyama was utterly disappointed after hearing Ranga's views, as Ranga, who could prove to be a good husband, had decided to remain a bachelor at present. So Shyama made up his mind that irrespective of Ranga's opinion about marriage or his decision to remain a bachelor, he would try his best to get Ranga married quickly. Shyama knew an 11-year-old orphan girl, Ratna, who was his neighbor Rama Rao's niece, and stayed with him at present after the death of her parents. The girl was beautiful, she had a sweet voice, and she could play the musical instruments such as the veena and harmonium in an efficient way. Shyama formulated a plan to let Ranga meet the girl and see her himself by inviting Ranga to come to his home. when Ratna was also called there on purpose. He had told Rama Rao's wife that he would send some buttermilk for them, and the narrator further requested Rama Rao's wife to ask Ratna to fetch it. When Ratna came to Shyama's house, the narrator requested her to sing, so that when Ranga would arrive, he could hear her. Ranga was impressed with her singing as well as her beauty, and inquired about her. Shyama lied to Ranga by telling him that she was already married, which disappointed Ranga. Next day, Shyama tutored the village astrologer known as Shastri to speak as Shyama wanted when Ranga was brought to him. Meanwhile, Ranga was looking sad, and so Shyama suggested him that they should consult Shastri to find out what was worrying him, to which Ranga readily agreed. Shastri pretended to make some calculations and declared that a girl was responsible for Ranga's condition, and her name was of something found in the ocean like Kamala, Pachi, Moss, Pearl, or Ratna. Shyama mentioned that the Ratna whom they knew was already married, but the astrologer stuck to his words and concluded that there may be some other girl who is suitable, and due to which Ranga is upset. He only told what the Shastras indicated. The narrator further noticed that Ranga's face had fallen, and he was utterly disappointed and unhappy to know that the girl Ratna was already married. Returning from Shastri's house, the narrator stopped at Rama Rao's house, went inside for some time, and then returned. He pretended to look surprised and told Ranga that just now he had found that Ratna was not married, and the earlier information was incorrect. He now asked Ranga whether what Shastri had indicated was true. Ranga admitted that whatever Shastri said was true, and he wanted to get married to Ratna. Finally, Ranga and Ratna got married and named their first child the same name as that of the narrator, that is Shyama, because he was the one responsible for them being happily married. So, dear students, we have just now glanced at the gist of the lesson exhaustively. Now, dear students, I hope that after watching this video lesson, you might have comprehended the lesson well, and now you are in a position to answer these important questions that are assigned to you as home assignment. If you face any difficulties while answering these questions, then I request you to watch this video lesson again, and then I am sure you would find yourself in a position to answer all the questions of this lesson in a satisfactory way. So at last, thank you very much to all of you for patiently watching this video by paying full attention to it till the end. Once again, thank you and have a nice day to all of you.